Welcome to part 3 of making wine at home with a kid. In this last episode we're going to discuss bottling wine. Now I'm going to show you everything that you're going to need for the bottling process. First you'll need a bucket. Second, the siphon. Third, an attachment that will make bottling much easier, that'll connect to the siphon. A corker. Approximately 30 bottles. And I normally purchase bottles, or as I give the wine away as gifts, people save the bottles for me and then give them back. By the way, everything has been sanitized chemically, and you need to do that with every part of the process. Here we have some capsules that will go on top of the bottle. This equipment we use it so you don't burn your hands when you're putting on the capsule. In here, just sitting in some water with some sanitizer, are the corks. We want to get them a little bit wet so they slide into the bottle a little bit easier. And then boiling water, which will help shrink wrap the capsules to the top of the bottles when we're done. And lastly, and I'll show those in a few minutes, your own particular label. We ended the last video, the second part of the series, with the wine clearing and finishing in the carboy. It's been sitting for approximately 15-16 days. I want all my wines to be crystal clear, totally degassed. So whether it's 14, 15, 16 days, you can view, take a look. When you're doing a red wine or blush, it's a little bit more difficult to tell about the clarity. When it's a white wine, it's very easy to tell how clear it is. But now we're going to go on to a step that not everyone does. Many people will bottle directly from the carboy, but because I want crystal clear wine, I don't want any sediment from the very bottom of the carboy to accidentally get into the bottles. We're going to go ahead and siphon the carboy into the bucket. First, we're going to go ahead and remove the airlock. And now we'll take the siphon. This is always a little bit tricky. You may spill a little bit. You want to bring the siphon in again, and the goal is not to disturb the sediment at the very bottom. It'll take several minutes to siphon everything from the carboy into the bucket. And again, the siphon is only down about a third of the way, and I'll slowly lower the siphon further and further, but still staying well above the sediment at the bottom of the carboy. We're back and we just have a little bit more to go. It is very normal for people to want to get every last drop that they can out of the carboy. I highly recommend leaving some at the very bottom so you don't stir up the sediment. I will show you what I do to get the very last drop. But again, I don't want any sediment to go into the bucket before I start bottling. Right now the bottom of the siphon is slightly above the sediment, maybe about a half an inch. And we'll go ahead and siphon it down to probably maybe about a quarter of an inch above the sediment. I just tipped it a little bit just to get a little bit more of the wine in. And as you can see, a lot of the sediment is at the very bottom of the carboy. I'm going to go ahead and take the carboy off the 3-foot stool chair, and now I'm going to lift the bucket up onto the chair, so it's again approximately 3 feet above the ground, which will make siphoning into the bottles much easier. As I mentioned, none of us likes to lose any wine. As you can see, this is very cloudy. I've lifted the carboy up here. What I'd like to do is take a couple mason jars, rinse them out, use a little bit of the sanitizer in each one, clean them. Again, the sanitization process is very simple with this kind of sanitizer. It cleans and sanitizes. As long as there's no true dirt or stuck on food or wine or whatever in your jar or your bottles, the sanitizer one step works very, very well. We're cleaning, and with this product you want it to air dry. I'm going to go ahead and pour the last of the wine into this mason jar. Next I'll pour the rest here. And I'm going to actually save this. And what I normally do is put it into the refrigerator. And within just a few days, you're going to see all the sediment going down to the bottom of the mason jar. And if you decant it very carefully, you'll be able to drink it in 3 or 4 days. Now, obviously, it's a very, very, very young wine in just 3 or 4 days, but it'll give you an idea of how the finished product is going to taste. So again, fill up. We left the real big sediment down left it in the carboy, and now we're going to go ahead and put these in the refrigerator. Earlier today I went ahead and put all 30 bottles into the dishwasher, but the dishwasher honestly doesn't do a great job inside, so I'm going to chemically sanitize each bottle just by putting a little bit of sanitizer into each one. One by one, with warm water and a sanitizer. I'll take it, fill it back up again, get the sanitizer out. And then move on to the second bottle. And you want to do this with all 30 bottles. It doesn't take too long. These bottles have no crust or anything left over from old wine inside. It's been cleaned very well. But again, just before bottling, I always like to use the sanitizer, so I feel comfortable that nothing's going to be growing in my wine. We're ready to go ahead and do the bottling. I've added the attachment to the bottom of the siphon. This controls the flow. When it's down, the wine will go right into the bottle. When I take pressure off it, it'll stop the flow. So we'll go ahead and put that in here for right now. And we'll go ahead and start the siphon. Sometimes it's nice to have 3 hands. Okay, very good. Good. Sometimes it's inevitable, especially with the first bottle, to have some bubbles. As the wine comes to the top, as so you don't overspill or overflow. I just like to top it off. And we want to leave it about an inch and a half from the bottom. Then we go right on to the second bottom. Bring the third bottle in place. Top it off. And then move on to the next bottle. We're going to do all 30 bottles this way, and I'll be back in a minute. We've filled 30 bottles exactly, and we've had the cork soaking. We're going to put it into the corker. Give yourself some room. It's down hard, and there's your first bottle. We'll do one more. Same exact process. Go ahead and put the cork in, put it down, top, and there. We're going to do all 30 bottles, and then we'll be back to cap the bottles. Okay, we've finished corking each bottle, and now we're going to put the caps on. We're going to use this tool. Simply put it like that. Put it in the water, literally for 1, 2, and that's enough. And it's nicely shrink wrapped. Do another one. Put it down, squeeze, and 1, 2. That's all it takes. We'll go ahead and continue doing the rest of the bottles, and then we'll come back for the final step, which is putting the label on each bottle. Here are the labels that I'll be using. We purchased them from Stony Creek. You can find them on the internet. We call it Kenny 1187 Wines. My son's name is Kenny, and 1187 is the street address of our home. So simply, we're going to go ahead and peel the label off. Place it on the bottle. Smooth. Do another one. Place it on the bottle. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the winemaking process. It's very simple, anybody can do it. You'll probably want to let this age at least another month. 2 to 3 months probably would be your best bet. Thanks for viewing. Have a great day.